You know what? Unfortunately, here in the U.S., even Americans don't know what life on the res is like, or about indigenous people, or what native people, modern day native perspectives. They've been so disconnected because Indian reservations or res life is so disconnected from city life, and that's systematically been done. It's been years and years of treaties that have been broken throughout the years. Because
I must tell
creeks
you, wherever reservations and other places I go, this is one question that's coming to me, Sadhguru, how should we, frame our future? What should we do, our youth? So I've been saying this exact same thing. I said it's very, very important you are part of the mainstream. At the same time, you don't give up your roots. You must go through modern education, you must make sure that you're successful, you are part of the mainstream. You don't become an archival people. You're
mm,
not archive. You're
mm,
not somebody's archive, you're not some kind of an exotic archive to look at. You're
yes, sir.
living people, you belong to this generation, but at the same time don't give up the roots because if you leave your roots, the tree will anyway die, okay? Today, the leaves may be green and tomorrow it'll become brown, that is in no time. But the important thing is the roots are nourished. So it's important that in your reservations, you must educate your children in your language, in your spiritual process, in whatever mysticism and exploration that was happening and the culture. But at the same time, you must do well in the modern world because you're living people, you are not an archive for somebody to come and look at you like you're from another time. You're not from
Yeah.
another time, you're from here, now.
Yeah.
There was a study, one of the largest studies out just recently by Illuminatives, was saying that the number one challenge the indigenous communities face here in America is not diabetes or access to proper schooling or healthcare. Instead, it was invisibility. That us being removed. And I loved how you said not to be archival, not to be a museum piece, but to be active in today. Well, what kind of advice would you give someone when it comes to trying to take control of their narrative and writing their own story?
See, today if you have to write your own story, first thing is you must be educated in today's language, today's culture, today's literature, very, very important.
Mm.
At the same time, as I said, your roots must be strong to write about that, otherwise you yourself may get lost. This is a problem in every culture. I'm saying it's not just here in North America. In every culture, people trying to become modern, they lose their very, roots. So keeping this balance is very important. This is why, anyway, usually the schools are only 8 months. I think the Native American reservations altogether should come to arrive at some kind of education system of your own, where at least for 2 months in a year, every child till they become 15 years of age attends these 2 month summer schools or whatever, where I know this may be a controversial thing for me to say and it's not in my place to say this, but I'm saying this out of concern, not out of some kind of creating some uniform thing. I know every tribe is distinctly unique and there are languages are different, cultures are different. But still we have to arrive at some common thing because cultivating and retaining 500 ways in today's world is going to be extremely difficult. 5 ways at least we can do, maybe 3 ways we can do, one way would be easy, but maybe it's not acceptable to everybody. But we must arrive, the community should arrive at some kind of thing, that some common practices can be merged together and all Native American children are learning those aspects, maybe a few aspects of their specific tribe, but the larger aspect of the indigenous people must become common. Somebody should do a framework of this education, at least 2 months in a year, they must do that and they must be proud to wear your kind of clothing, your kind of whatever, which represents your culture. I would say it would be fantastic if all these tribes or these leaders meet for a conference once a year and see how can we,
I love
how
that.
can we make this a futuristic thing? Don't…
I love
see,
that.
what's happened in the past, nobody can fix the past, all right? We cannot fix what happened yesterday. What we are trying to do is that the future is good for the next generation of people. That is what is most important.
Man,
Wow.
I wish our leaders thought like you, man. We're in an effed up situation, to be honest with you, with the whole leadership of this country. And if we had more people speaking like how you think and people's in power, then we would move forward. And I think more tribal communities would feel inclusive and be part of the conversation as opposed to being separated and divided. And I think more people have to have that initial force and love and lead with love and try to bring people together, that one world mentality, because that's how we think. We think one world mentality. How do we bring people together? How do we make sure that we lead with love and not have an opposing force of negative frequencies? I just want to be positive and bring love to the world. So that I love that. I commend you, Sadhguru, for thinking like that. I love that oneness mentality. We need more of that.
If you think we can contribute in any way towards that, we will be most willing, because these people need to be freed from the fears of the past and they must plan for their future. This is very important.